A very good evening to all of you. I, Barkha Prajapati, on behalf of Parul University, welcomes you all. Today, we have Ms. Soumyaraj Vishwakarma as our expert. She is currently working as a visual designer at TCS Interactive Kochi Design Lab. She also have experience as a graphic designer at a TEDx MS University of Vadodara and Accelerate ST. She completed her study in visual art from MS University of Baroda. I welcome you, Soumya. Now I request to Ms. Soumya Raj, you may continue your session.
Thank you, Barkha madam, for inviting me over. So I hope I'm audible, and I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you to join this presentation. So I'll be taking forward with a brief introduction of myself. I'll start with sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes,
Okay. So I'm Soumya. So I've joined TCS Interactive Lab last year, and I'm working as a visual experience designer there. I have also completed my bachelor from MS University Baroda in Bachelor of Visual Arts. So currently, with my freelance experience, I would like to share that I've worked with clients like Hindustan Unilever, the Plated Project, Fool, Cry India, and many more actors and actresses like Kresha Bajaj. She is the fashion designer. So I've worked for the visual presentation and their website designs, and I'm also featured in ad film for Facebook. So this is kind of my portfolio. So today we are gonna talk about introduction to digital illustration. So you must have heard about digital illustration or have seen somewhere the use of digital illustration, mostly in websites and application. So we'll go through one by one. So for brief introduction, I would like to explain what an illustration actually is. And illustration is not just a work of art or some painting that you see. It has some meaning and it has some context in which the illustrations are being used. So the illustration is a key element where it is used to visualize or explain something. So if there is an idea and you can't express it in words, but it will be a better solution if you just explain it in terms of a visual diagram or a presentation. The very basic example is of graphs and infographics elements. If you see, there is bar graph, there is donut graph, and things like that. So if even if it's a cartoon, you must have in childhood you must have read comic books and read many novels where you can see the usage of diagrams in it. Even in our science textbook, it's a very basic example. You might have seen a drawing of a computer explaining the different parts of the design. So that is also a diagram, or you can say an illustration, which is used to explain the parts or the visual diagram of the product. So unlike a traditional illustration, so when I say traditional illustration, it means the hand drawn illustration. So we can consider it as a category of the traditional. And now as the technology is booming, so now we have digital illustration that can be directly made on a software on a laptop. All you need is a laptop, a software, and a Wacom pad and a pen. So it's a great innovation of our times, which can be greatly helpful in any case. So now let's dive into digital illustration. So how do we get started? So what do you need for a digital illustration? So as I mentioned, what hardwares do you need? So in hardwares, there are very cheap options available and there are very costly options available in the market when it comes to hardwares for the illustration. All you need is a computer, a laptop, or an iPad, and a Wacom Intuos that you can use to do an illustration. I'll show you the image. So here we have a laptop, and next we have this iPad that she is working on. So the hardware is connected to the laptop with a wire, or it can be a Bluetooth device also. So all you need is to connect your laptop, and then you can work on it as smoothly as a pen and paper. So actually you can consider as a notebook for your laptop. You can draw over it, or you can use it as you want. I'll also demonstrate briefly, like I'll show you what do you need to do if you are using laptop and using Photoshop in it. The next one is an iPad. So you need a stylus, you can call that a pen. So you need a stylus for that, and you can directly draw over the surface of the screen. So here, as you can see, these both images are different. The Wacom Pen tablet is attached to the laptop, and there is this app called Procreate, and it is used on an iPad. So the difference is here you are connecting it to a device called laptop, and you are drawing on it. So directly you are not drawing over the screen, but the movement that you make helps you draw on the screen. So currently I'm using the first option, Wacom Pen tablet. The another option is the Procreate on iPad. So basically you just draw over the screen, and it helps you. It's more like a direct touch, so more like a pen and pencil feel. So you can draw over a paper, or you can draw over a screen. So it's the difference. Next, we come to the softwares available in the market. So there are plenty of softwares available. There are 2D softwares to 3D softwares. So there are paid version and free versions also. If you have all the hardwares, and now you need a software to draw on. For example, the basic software that everyone uses is Photoshop. And Photoshop is a wide variety of products are available in it. So you can use a different brush, or you can use a different canvas for it. And the another option is an Illustrator. Illustrator is also a product of Adobe Photoshop, but these all products are paid. The another free versions are Krita. Krita is also a software that is used for visual design and visual paintings, basically. So for digital painting, you can use free softwares like Krita for beginners and Autodesk Sketchbook. There is Procreate for iPad, but is a slightly costly option. So I can show you the example. I'll just go through it, and we'll see. Another option that we are considering is how do we get started. So I'll just show you how it works on Photoshop. Just give it a minute, I'll just open. So here we are in the website. The Photoshop is here. So now we have a blank screen. What we need to do is open up a new canvas on it. So here you can select the paper size from A4, A6, A3. You can select any size. And one more thing that you need to take care is about the resolution. So if you are going to print the artwork, or it is for any printing media, you should always stick with resolution of 300 dpi. And if you are using for web, it can be 72. You can just change here, like it's in pixels and inches. So you just have to take care. The more the dots you have in it, the more pixels, the more clarity you will get in your illustration works. So here we will stick with 300, and we have taken a custom size of A3. When you click OK, you will get the artboard here. This is the artboard. This is the layer panel. Here you can select any layer, and we have the option of brush here. So when you are using the Illustrator, one thing you need to take care is always experiment with the brushes. So here you can see the brushes. There are soft brushes, hard, and there are many other brushes that you can experiment with. So there are textured brushes like this chalk. So when you move over it, you can see how it looks. So right now I'm using a pen tablet attached to my laptop. So you can just see what the product that I'm gaining on the screen. You can see how textured it is. So it's upon you how you experiment with the texture, the colors, the layers. Next we have this hard round brush. You can see the difference between both the textures. So it generally depends on your illustration and your needs on what kind of illustration you want to make and what effect you want in the illustration. This is another brush. With every brush you will get a different quality. From here you can just select this opacity. You can increase it or decrease it. In the layer option too, you have this opacity layer where you can, if you decrease it, you will see how it disappears from the screen, and when you move it forward you will see how it appears here. If you don't want this, you can just delete it and take on another layer. So I'll just give you a small demonstration of how you can set the property of the brushes. So here we have this property bar. There you can change the shape dynamics. So right now we have this brush, and you can make a smooth round figure with it. Next, we will just experiment with the size. How the experiment will define the different size. So you can see how the bumpy the line gets. It's not a smooth line, it's a bumpy line. Now if we just select this scattering, you can see how this property changes here. You can increase it or you can decrease it the way you want. So it's upon you how you make the changes and use it. You can see how the same brush will give you different effect whenever you use it. Next, what I like to do is change it to wet edges. That gives it a feel of, like a watercolory feel you will get with it. You can see the difference. It becomes lighter, and it also do the layering thing. And when you switch it back, you can get the original space that you had, original brush you will get back. So I hope you understand how this thing works. And next is the color panel. So we are here in a RGB spectrum. So here you can see this color that we have. Here is the color code, and this is the CMYK range. Right now we are working in RGB mode. You can just draw over it and select the color that you want, that is preferable by you. And here we have this color change. Next thing you can do is you can automatically change the color of the brushes by going into this color dynamics. What you can do, you can just select this hue and everything, and you can just apply it per tip. So you can see how it changes. With every line, you will get a different color. So these are something, this property that you need to explore and experiment with it. So Photoshop has a great variety of brushes and pre brushes that are also available, and pre effects are also there. So you just need to see what is suitable for you and your, as per your requirement, and you can just experiment with it and play with it until you get the desired effect. So this is just a brief introduction of the software that are being used in our field for digital illustration. This is the best software that I've been using for a long time now. So this is it. I'll be closing my software now. We don't need to save it. So now getting back to the presentation, I'll just share my screen again. Yeah. Now we come to the different uses of the illustration. So where are these illustrations being used? We have seen that how to use it, but now let's learn where to use it. So illustration are just like a supporting element for your designs. So basic elements should never deviate from what we are doing right now, and not all the concentration should be put on the illustration, but it should be the hero of the image. The graphic design hero should be the illustration. So, for example, if we are talking about UI design, which is user interface design, when we talk about that, so where it is used, you can see the usage of the illustration in website, in mobile apps, on onboarding screens. You might have seen the illustration. The basic example that I would like to give you is for Zomato. So when you use this app, you will see the onboarding screen. It will teach you about how to use this app, and it will assist you in logging pages and everything. So the graphic image that you see it is all the illustration work that is being done. Next area is the advertising field. And advertisement also, you might have seen many animated ads are shown, like Vodafone Zuzu ad. So it's a very famous ad, and you might have seen how the advertisement works in that. Next field is the packaging. So there are many packaging products available in market till now that uses illustration in their branding. So basic concept for the branding, it defines the image of the brand. It defines your visual language of what you are using. And if anyone sees that illustration, it should definitely identify that yes, this is the brand and they use this visual language. And moving forward, I would like to take this topic one by one. Let's start with the UI design. So, we'll talk about users of illustration in a user interface. So, as I told you, that illustration add as a supporting element for the whole app. So it shouldn't be that the whole focus is being focused and you just use it for the beautification of the app. It shouldn't be like that. It should be used in such a way that it enhances the usability of the app. It should have an emotional and visual appeal for the interface, as well as for the other part of the interface. It should be a functional illustration. It should guide you in some way, like for example, when you see a success message, you will see a small illustration giving you a thumbs up or a thumbs down when the something fails or something happens in the app. So you might have seen how it works. So if there is a connection loss or a 404 error, you can see a small graphical image that is being shown. It can be a small animated clip. So it just it still conveys a message to the user what is being happening right now. Right now the images are being used as a hero images, theme images, or a mascot or the character. For example, if we talk about mascot, you might have seen Amul girl. So she is the brand mascot. The Amul girl is the brand mascot for it, and it is very recognizable. Whenever you see that girl, you will definitely recognize that the brand that is being talked about is Amul. So the next is for onboarding tutorials and tool tips. So I have some example. So this is the example. The first one is the onboarding app. So the illustration, you will see how they're assisting the application and how the things work here. So leaving today, this is an interface of a mobile travel mobile app. You will see how the first image represents how the girl is packing her bag, and in the second one you can see her traveling, and in the third one you can see a ticket receipt being printed. So these are just images that assist the user in identifying the app and understanding what action is happening. The second example is of a desktop website. Here you can see how this is a pet website where you can see a man and the dog they are walking. So this is basically just to connect with the user and to increase the interest. So if you are seeing a blank image or something, it might not be interesting because they're just words and you need something visual to connect with it. So it brings the interest of the user who is using the application and the website. For example, next we have this is this user journey, how the illustration is used for telling the journey to the user. For in the first image you can see be your own boss, so they are just storytelling. This illustration is part of a storytelling here. You can see different people doing different activities in it, and they can just tell you a story without the use of the words. Here you can see a journey, how this lady is sitting there and how it progresses from, it's a cycle from end to the process. When it ends, start to end, it's a circle. The second image you can see is the use of illustration as the web icons. You can see a beauty app here, and you can see how the effects of the icons in this. These are the flat icons. The first one is a flat icon, flat line icon. You can see how these icons are used in this app. So it's just basically a storytelling thing. The third image is of a mascot. You can see this monkey image here, so you can connect with it immediately whenever you see this app, or the example that I told you about the Amul girl. So it's also a mascot for Amul. So whenever you see it, you can just connect the visual imagery to the brand. So it's a brand image that is being created. The last image is of the application icons. These are flat icons that are being used in the application to show how the works. I'll just give you an example. I have some of the best application that I found. So this is the application. This is the Pratham mobile application, and this is their website version. So you can see how they have made the website so interactive and interesting to see. When you see it, you can just feel free to scroll down and see how the illustration is. It's like a story. It's a very interacting and interesting app. So you can see how it is slightly animated. It's very interesting app for students also, like for kids. So you can just read a story here or do anything you want. For kids it's very interesting, like you can see how the squirrel is sitting here and moving his tail. So this small illustration and this small animation brings the website to life. So it's up to you how you use the illustration and how you show to the users how to make the experience of the user more interactive. That's the main goal of the illustration. It's not just for beautification, it's for enriching the experience of the user whenever they're using it. So they should not feel bored. You can see how much text is there. So the to attract the user, you just have a brief window of 5 seconds. So whenever you open this app, it should just draw the attention of the user towards it, so it can feel free to scroll down and just go through it, whatever content you have put. And it's up to you how you make it more interactive. So you can see how the small ants are picking up this book and carrying this book, so it's like an advertisement for them also. I just really like this image, so I just want to share this example with you all. So these are all live websites that are being used. I can also share the website links with you. So this is called the prathambooks.org. You can just go through it and you can see how this they have used the illustration into making their website so interactive and interesting. Just see this.
Hello, Soumya.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, this is a website for kids.
Yeah, this is the website for kids. So you
Okay,
can just go through it. I'm just showing the example on how on
it's very
various apps.
nice.
Yeah. So it's a website for kids and you can read the books here. So in
Okay,
any language, maybe it's a Hindi book or a Gujarati book or any language. So what they do is they provide books online. So in lockdown, what happened? People were not able to go outside and go to school, and kids were getting bored. So they have made this app and this website is there, so you can just go to their website and see it. And you can see, I'm just telling you how illustration are being used in real life. So it's not just a theory or just to make it look beautiful. So this is just example of how people are generally using it, making it more interactive. Next example I would like to show you of Domino's website. So as I told you that the illustration are being used website images. You can see this app, right? On this is the website of Domino's, and whenever you open their app, also you can see this hero image. This is called the hero banner image. That is when you open any app or anything, you the first image you show is the home page. So to make it more interesting, they have this image where you can see a man on a bike who is your delivery guy, uh, generally showing it. So yeah, these are the menu that I will show you. These are the menu icons. So these are just here to assist the words. So when you say it, our menu, they have made a small icon where it's a menu card and the nearby store, everything birthday party. So it just makes it more interactive and useful to focus on. The next app I want to show you is of Paytm. How Paytm has used illustration to make their app more interactive. So you can see these icons that being used, right? So you can identify whenever you see a blue icon or icon, flat icons like that. So it just helps you in recognizing what is being asked. The next icon here, you can see how they've used these icons on their website to make it more interactive and interesting for the users, so people don't feel bored. That's the main image, is to support it and make the experience more useful for them. The next app is Swiggy. So I'm just giving the examples of the website that we use on a daily basis. So we order food from Zomato, we order food from Swiggy, and we see this illustration, right? You can see how they have used these flat icons in their website to give you a better idea of what is happening, lightning fast delivery. So these are not just words, they are using images to attach with the words and make it more user friendly. The next website is of MailChimp. MailChimp is a mailing website. So you can also see how every website has their own visual language. You can see that these illustrations look more like hand-drawn illustrations, right? On everything they have used this line illustration. So this is their visual language. Next, this is one of my favorite website. This is a Gucci website. So this is their spring summer collection. And this is a very interesting website. I'll just show you. When you scroll down, you can see a gallery of women sitting. These are all illustrated images. So I can show you how interactive and interesting it gets. So it's up to you how you use this illustration into improving your own websites and making the user experience very interesting. See how interesting it is, right? It's like a 3D, but these all are 2D illustration made in Photoshop, I guess. So yeah, you can see the whole view, and when you move your mouse from here to there, you can see how it moves. So it gives you a whole 3D 360 look of the gallery that they are being shown. The next is this. So this is the same website, so they are just showing you how interactive it gets when you scroll it down. You can see how this floor is moving. So this is all effect that you can use it in a multiple way. You have a great variety of stuff that you can do with the illustration, and how you can use it and make your website more interactive and professional looking. And it's a great experience for users too. I mean, they will just love to visit your website even if they don't have anything much to do on it. They can just go and play with it, or make the user experience and the waiting process interesting. I'll show you another example. Just let's go through this website once. So you see how these bubbles are moving and how this gives you a very interesting and immersive experience of the Gucci website. This is all the illustration, and you can see. Just how wherever you move this mouse, this monkey will move. So it's like a game. It's a very playful experience too. Next, you have this, and yeah, you can see how when you scroll it down, how this things come up and goes down. Yeah, so they have this when where you can just choose a color and you can, draw with it and work with it wherever you want. So when you they ask you to choose a color, you can wherever you move your mouse, they will just interact with you. So this is one of my favorite website where you can show how diverse this illustration field is and how much it's interesting. Next website is this Defeat Boko. So it's like a story. When you start your journey, they will show you how this interactive this image gets. This is also a waiting website, right? When you are waiting for a page to load, you can see how interesting they have made it for the user to wait. It's not just a simple website, so you can just play game with it. Best example is when there is a server, when the server is not working on the Chrome or whatever device that you are using. So there you have this dinosaur game. So it is also the use of an illustration to make the experience of the user more interesting, and people will not just simply leave your website so soon. It's to grab the attention of the user. So yeah, this is about how you can use the illustration to make it more interesting. Now let's jump to another sessions. Yeah, okay. So the next category we have is for advertising. As I told you that you might have seen the advertisements and big billboards of this illustration from Amul. Amul uses the illustration in the best way. They always are up to date and they use current situation, current topics to showcase their illustration and show how it is. I'll just show you few example for Amul website too. Let me just So this is how Amul uses its illustration into showing how the current situation and the current topics that they are being using. This is the another illustration. So on their app, you can just go to their website and see all the illustration that they have done so far. So this is the current issue about the Kohli and cricket scheme, and this is the new CEO of fashion house. This is Lena, and next you can see Harna Sandhu. She is a Miss Universe. So you can see how they pick new topics and just illustrate to convey their message and make it more interesting, right? So this is very unique way of celebrating, and they have their own style. So whenever you see a billboard showcasing this style and this Amul girl, you will just recognize this. Yes, this is Amul, and this is what they do. And the next ad is of JBL. You can see this is a 3D illustration, and you can see how interestingly they have used it and used this white space to show the headphone. So you can see how they have not used any text, but with only the visuals they are conveying this very strong message. So it's a very strong illustration that gives you a good message about how you can use just the visual without the text and still convey the same message with same positive energy. Next is let's talk about the packaging. So packaging design is also a very wide design. You can see one of my favorite brand is Fool. So they use illustration to showcase their packaging and how they use this illustration making their brand image and conveying the message of the brand. So whenever you see flat icons or anything full showcasing their images, so you will just recognize this. Yes, this is the brand Fool, and this is what they do. This is their packaging, and whenever you see, you will just recognize it very easily. Next brand that I want to talk about is Paperboat. So Paperboat uses their drink and memories. So they use illustration into showing that nostalgic memories of your childhood. Next, we should talk about is editorial design. So whenever you see a novel or a storybook, like I previously mentioned, let's talk about Panchatantra or any storybook that you might have read in childhood. You can see how beautifully they have illustrated every story, and you can see how they have used these drawings and illustration to make it more interactive and interesting for children to read it. And it's not just for kids, but these are very strong visual elements that can help you boost your reach and make it more interesting for the users to read it. The very famous example is the New Yorker. It's a very famous magazine, and in every issue they use new style and new illustration to show what their topic is. Next we can talk about is concept art. So, concept art is something that you can relate with a very broad variety of subjects. So, these illustrations are very detailed, and these are very lifelike images. Next is character design. You can see on the left side of the image how the elaborate and beautiful this illustration is. It's very detailed, and these illustrations are used in fantasy movies. So when we talk about these movies, you can talk about VFX and how they use VFX to enhance the visual representation of any movie or a gaming experience. So many of you must be playing many digital games. So the concept behind this images are all illustration. They are all done in illustration, and you can see a live gaming image. So these are all the concept images and the character design that there is a lot of work behind what you see on your screen. So all these visual elements, the artist work, and these are all considered under concept art. So next we can talk about is technical and infographic elements. When we talk about science and technology, you can see how these illustrations are being used in the science notebooks or the biology notebooks. Or we can talk about this. For example, there is a diagram of a human image on this image. You can see how they have illustrated it because they can't put on real photographs. So in medical field, they use this illustration to show how the cell works or a part of a body works. So these are more elaborate and people can generally connect with it. When you see, you can't just see image and just comprehend it. So these illustration are very useful in scientific field to show how these images work and how you can show it. Next is the infographics. The first illustration that you see, it's a infographic image, it's a flat image. So it is assisting a process. When you talk about a process, it can be anything. It can be a real process or an abstract process that goes behind the machine. So when you talk about the second image, you can see how the sandwich is being made. So what you see here on the side, you have this meat, you have this farm food. How from a farm on your plate, from your farm to your plate, how you get a food. So they are just trying to show a process. So there are like million of example. For example, very relatable situation that I would like to share is when you buy a new AC and you want to use it, but you don't know, you are not an expert, you have never installed an AC or done anything like that, but they give you a booklet, and in that there are some instruction manual where you can see how the process is being going on and what is the process There are small diagrams that can show where to fix it, how to fix it, and it can really assist people who don't know anything about it to just gain a simple knowledge. But I don't recommend that you just go there and use it, because there are people who are expert in doing that work. But yeah, basic elements are the same. So this is how the vast variety of illustration that you are seeing here. Next is when you talk about branding. So yeah, I would like to share an interesting project that I did earlier. So let's talk about branding and how the illustration define the brand. First example we would like to talk is Airbnb. Airbnb is a big brand where you can rent your rooms and go on a vacation. It's like a app, for example, Go Ibibo and Make My Trip. So Airbnb is similar app to that. So they are also using their illustration to streamline and make the experience of the user seamless. The next very popular app is Shopify and Slack. So you can see how they're using the illustration to explain their ideas or on the onboarding of apps. So this is how they use this illustration. Let me show you some examples that I did. So okay, yeah, this is an branding design that I have done. Like I did it when I was in college. So you can see how I've used this illustration to show this journey. You can use the illustration elements to just assist your text. This is the branding. This is how you make a brand manual and everything in it. So these are the illustration that I've used to seamlessly increase the user experience and make the project more interesting. So this is how you can assess them and insist on using an where you can make it more pretty or make it more usable for the interactive purpose. This is how you can use it for making a interactive website. And this is the social media of the same application that I'm talking about. So you have this eCamp event and you can just relate to it that yeah, it's a eCamp event and this is their brand language. They use this illustration to make it more visible to the users and more attractive, so people can just go through it and make it more interesting. This is how you can use the illustration for the poster design for the same. This is the t-shirt. This is all branding that you have done. You can combine your logo, how you can combine your artistic elements in it. This is the ID card of the attendees that I have created. So you can see how I've mixed the text and all the illustration. These are all graphical images that are being used. Yeah, so that's it for like this branding process. And let's move forward with the presentation. Next, we have yeah, most important field that the illustration are being used in the fashion industry. So when you are, if you are designer of or you know any one of your friend that is designer, so maybe you have seen them sketching. So these are also done by hand, but digital illustration are being used because they are more forgiving and you can change the color or you can just modify it whenever you want. So this when before starting stitching a dress, what you do, you design it over a pen or a paper, or you design it over an application. So this is how it proceeds. This is like a work in progress. So maybe this is a rough that you will show and get it approved, and then one by one you will just show how it progresses and how the actual design is being made. Now, let's talk about how you can develop an unique illustration style. So, when we talk about a illustration style, there are many styles that are being currently being used. You say flat illustration, you can talk about 3D illustration, or any illustration that are being made on a computer. So, let me show you some examples for the same. Yeah. When you see it, this is a flat illustration. Flat illustration, it means there are no textures, there are no element that will pop up the design. It's just a vector design. This is generally made in Adobe Illustrator. This is also example of a flat illustration. So these are mainly like the icons for a website or an application. Now let's talk about 3D illustration. So these are 3D illustration. These are also gaining lot of popularity these days because 3D is like a virtual experience for you. You don't have to just go and see it. They give you a dimension. You can see the product in a 360 view. So this 4D illustration are also gaining lot of popularity. Now talking about how this illustration that I gave you example for editorial illustration. This is an example for an editorial illustration, how this illustration is being used in magazines and newspapers. So, like for example, let me talk about a Gujarati newspaper Bal Bharti or any sort of illustration that are used in for kids illustration to support the visual elements or the text that is being used. So this is another example. This is a movie poster, Stranger Things. This is a poster for that. So here you can see how this imagination takes it all. This you can also consider it as a digital painting or any sort of that illustration. So you can see how they have used these visual elements. These are not Photoshop or any photographs that are being used. This is purely digital illustration. Next one is this India Today magazine cover. So magazine cover generally use it to make their idea more vibrant and more conceivable to the user. So when you read it, you will just know what this magazine is all about, what this topic is all about. So it's like more like a self-explanatory visual design. This is also movie poster for movie Rockstar. These are all digital illustrations. And yeah, talking about traditional illustration, when you see old movie design, so these are not digital, these are made by hand. So you can see how the journey is from handmade illustration to current new digital media, how you can use it to enhance the visual design of your app or anything that you want. Yeah, so these are a few examples that I wanted to share. So talking about the visual design, so it depends on how you use it. Like it's all upon you, how you experiment it and how you discover your own unique design. So when you are talking, if you are creating a website or an app, so it depends on you how you want to show the visual experience to the user. What is your visual design? What is your color scheme? What kind of audience you have? So it all depends on what you want to convey in that style. So it's a great medium to assist it. It's a great support for the functional elements, the to make it more harmonized and attractive to the user. The screen should be like a very vibrant space for the user to be. Let's talk about like careers when you're talking about illustration. But yeah, it's not just a career where you can sit and just make drawings all the day. You have to follow a particular brief. If you want to become a successful designer or an illustrator, you need to understand what the need of the user is, what the news need of the application is, what problem you are trying to solve with that illustration. It is not just an image that you want to use to make your application more uh, easy to use or more beautiful or more appealing to the user, but it should always solve a problem. It should minimize the use of text and how you can use visual language to enhance the usability of your application or a website. So in career wise speaking, you can be a illustrator, you can do packaging designs, you can do billboards, you can make fine art poster or an animated commercial, anything. It's a very broad variety. If you are a graphic designer, you must be familiar with the term illustration as well. So Yeah, this is the end of my presentation, and now I'm open for questions. So if you have any question, you can just shoot it up, and I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Soumya, can you please explain us how these illustration benefit for the computer engineer student?
Yeah, when I talk about this illustration, let me go back to the first slide that I used. Why add illustration to user interface? So being a computer engineer student, at some point you are going to develop an application. At some point you are going to develop work on an website where you want to harmoniously use the image or an illustration or any graphical image to assist your text. So when we talk about text, you have an onboarding app where you want to show user how you can just onboard in an app and show it to them. So this is how you can use it for your application, like the few website that I have shown you. So you can just use an image, and assisting to that you can use this text, we have on our website, like I showed you for the Domino's app. It just enhances the visual harmony of the website, and it can greatly affect your animation and everything. So it's a good experience for the user too. Like whenever you are making an website, just to make it more playful and more interactive, this is how you can use illustrations in that. You don't have to make it by yourself. There are many websites where you can get the free illustration. For example, Freepik is there, you can just download it. Or if you have a visual designer in your team, every team has a visual designer in them. Like I'm a visual designer for my team, and I assist them in making these visuals and making their website more user friendly. The main concept is making it more user friendly, so the user spends more time on your website, so it doesn't get bored. The user should not get bored, and it should understand how it works perfectly.
Okay, thank you, Soumya. That means if we use a illustration in our website, then we attract a more user.
To attract a more user, you can use it for a storytelling. Like showed you, like how you can use illustration for icons. So there is a home icon, there is a notification icon. So all these icons are also part of illustration only. So it's upon you how you use it and how you make it more user friendly.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Soumya, and thank you so much for such a wonderful and interesting presentation. I really enjoy your presentation, and I think student also enjoy your presentation. You uh, really did a great effort for this presentation because you explain each and every topics using one example, and I think giving an example to a student,
Yes.
it's a best way to uh, giving them a knowledge about that particular concept.
Yeah,
So
that is the main concept of illustration, that people are not able to understand just by text or visual. For example, when you are reading a book, it has no images, you will slowly lose all the interest. But if this book has some images and some creative aspect to it, you will really enjoy it. So it just increases your user experience for that, and you will like spend more time reading that book. So this is the basic concept. Just the text is not enough, and people generally remember the concept more when you show the images to them. So in a presentation also, it's very important to grasp the attention of the viewer, so you can just stick to it. So that was the main concept around it.
and also that means I think our student learn so much thing from this presentation. That means how to convert a boring website
Yes,
into a
into an
interactive ones.
interesting one.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you so much for your time, and it's really a wonderful session. I enjoy a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for attending it, and thank you Barkha ma'am for inviting me.
Okay, so here we end the session. Okay.
Okay, sure.